Whether it is to pick the committee or talk about it anyway, where we at, Lori?
I checked the list of names that you gave me by email.
Okay, so I just threw some of them out there.
Yeah, well, I put them in a spreadsheet.
Okay.
And then, honey, I thought you were gonna be here, so if you can read this from here, you're good. But
Was this email that I did not see? I did not see this.
That's your email.
then it's to me.
Oh, that's mine. Well,
I hope you saw it.
This is something she can, this is something she
definitely
can see
got
too,
that.
right? Yeah, okay.
Luann, scan it and email it to
Everybody
me.
can talk to you.
No.
Luann,
I mean,
she has to
these
do this, yeah,
people are
that's an
active
email
in
it
the
to
community.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just from different realms of life.
This, did you make note of it? Cause it's for you. Okay, okay.
I got 3 names to add.
Yeah, I know, but I'm okay. That's fine. But may I see that for a little bit while she makes a copy of that? I'll get it back to you.
Or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I was just gonna throw, I talked to Josh Holt, the city of Macokota,
Okay,
and he submitted Steve Kaler to be their representative.
okay,
Because he said, if you want somebody that will know their comp plan inside and out one way or another, Steve would be the guy to devote himself to doing that.
okay.
I would like to, I'd like to throw Scott Gent's name in if everybody's okay with him living about just a smidge outside of Jackson County, but 98% of what he does is in Jackson County. He represents several different groups. And then I talked to Patricia Larson, who owns the Sebula Marina, the island marina over there, and they just built a new building that the Welcome Center is in, and they have been really kind of trying to put Sebula back on the map. I talked to her and she would be excited to.
When I talked to Kelly about that, she was gonna talk to them and she didn't think they would have time, but there's.
Cause it's either one or the other. I wouldn't want to see.
I
that.
actually, I conversed with Patricia herself and
Kelly don't have time and
Okay.
just,
So cross off Kelly.
yeah.
This one.
this-
oh, you're talking Kelly or Ben, or were you talking about the loss?
Patricia or Kelly,
Kelly
cause they're both,
O'Connor are working, she works for them down there, part of the business or whatever.
She said, what kind of, she asked me, I asked her if she'd be thankful. Consider, she goes, what kind of time commitment, how many committee members? I said, approximately 12 committees, approximately 3 meetings. In Zoom or in person, 6 members geographically. And she goes, yeah, I would commit to that. I have very unpredictable schedule by the nature of business, but she said that if that's okay, she'd be willing to do it.
So tell me, what are we actually doing here? Are we trying to put committee member, are these certain people on a committee? Is that what we're trying to do?
that would be the goal.
Okay, are we publicly throwing names out there? Next question. You know, I'm not, huh?
Yeah, that's for you
Okay, but
guys. to decide.
on the other side of it, just so you know, Mary, that some of these names that I threw down there have not been contacted.
Oh, mine either. Sure.
So
the 3 that
I'm
I
just
just threw
off-
out have agreed. They
Okay.
have been confirmed, whether it be through me
Okay.
personally or through the city of Macokota.
So I'm just saying, I don't know how you want to do this. Okay.
So you'll notice by my notes, I have a Y column for ones that I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking I agree with on those. And then some of the reasons why. And I've also taken the columns and kind of threw in there what they do or what that I know that they do. And then I also have their approximate ages of ones, because it's like to get to 20 somethings, 30 something in there, but most of the age group that I'm seeing are the 50s and 60s. But to get
Nothing
some,
wrong with that age group.
no, I'm right there with you. But just trying to get some balance. And then one thing I'd like to see, well, but it's up to you, it's your call, some political balance too.
Okay. I see Nancy on here and I wonder, not Travis instead of Nancy, because he owns property in Sebula also.
Okay.
So I'm just, I don't know either one or,
Yeah.
I would say one or the other.
I
is
think
suffice.
Nancy would probably have more time.
Okay,
I would
That's-
agree with that too.
You'd agree with that? Good.
I would think she's got more time, but. Travis is a little younger, a little different way of thinking.
Well, yeah, that too. So I guess
You
that
know,
would.
and
come
he's
in-
he actually went to school for business and is into, I guess, I don't know what his degree says, but. I mean, he's the promoter or marketing guy for that for that business. He's the
Okay.
market guy. you know.
Okay, and that's another avenue to look at.
Okay,
I know he's.
And
active.
it's a good, Travis is a good way to get somebody younger again, because a lot of the people I think we have on our list.
hang on, man, you're off. You're
And
out.
Travis.
Stuck.
Travis
I'm
Stevens
sorry,
on
we didn't hear a
JCA
word you
board.
said. You blanked out.
Jackson County.
Oh.
Okay, got it.
I just said that he would be a way of getting somebody younger, because I feel like a lot of the people we have are the older generation.
Mhm. You got the list too, right? Did I
So-
put-
Well, I seen the list that Mike emailed you earlier.
Okay, and then,
I can email this one to her too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Luann's gonna scan and email you the other spreadsheet.
We're just going from the top, is that correct?
Yeah, let's do
Okay,
that.
so, I have Teresa Weincheck, went through Preston's comprehensive plan and Belgia's comprehensive plan.
Okay, so Teresa actually, she helped put them both together?
She helped put Preston's together. Now
Okay.
she sits on, she's read Bellevue's,
Okay,
and she also was, city administrator in West Union.
okay,
So I guess I don't know, and I don't know if Tom would do it. Tom is Tom Rose.
okay,
I was looking at one of the two, and Teresa would be happy to do it, so
okay.
I don't know that, I guess. I thought being she had experience in that, I mean,
And Tom probably did too or not.
well, see Bellevue, I don't know when they had theirs. They just did theirs, I
Yeah,
think. So
about
Tom
4
was,
years ago, I think.
Tom was on the council probably.
Right,
Yeah.
and then I wonder if he was in Comanche when they did their.
Yeah, I don't know that, I
They
guess.
did theirs. So
And
don't know
I
what-
don't care if we have both, but
Yeah,
Teresa had
Well-
already agreed, so.
okay, so, all right, so do you want, I highlighted Travis then, this is our
Yeah.
rough first run
Yeah.
through.
And Travis and Teresa are
Okay.
both on the JCEA board,
Okay,
so they have that connection as well.
all right, so would we want to look at Tom for that reason or not?
I don't know. She's still the city manager in Preston.
Bellevue now,
She's in Bellevue.
Teresa,
If she's already agreed, I would stick with her.
okay,
she
well-
did agree.
she can be on that, first,
Yep.
and we'll see what we end up with here, so. Your next someone's Adam Ryder, and I want to say I know that name, but I
No.
don't know who he
I,
is.
I would say if we have somebody from Preston, like Travis or Nancy, I'm not. That was just names she suggested.
Okay,
so.
so we can bypass that. JT, what's he involved in besides being a cop?
No,
Okay, and so I'm not
again,
gonna,
she thought they'd have the good input, and I said, okay.
okay. And so Tom Roth is one of those maybes
Yeah.
too. Okay, so I'm highlighting him in orange. I crossed off Kelly O'Connor, Kurt Johnson. He owns what, 2 rental
So
properties, it looks like.
well, no, he lives down there now. He sold
Oh,
his house along the river. He's an engineer for John Deere Dubuque,
Okay,
very active and very.
active in what? I don't know him. That's why I'm questioning it.
So, in the community, I mean,
Okay,
he's interested in buying and restoring buildings and doing that kind of stuff, so.
okay.
I don't know, he's local, I will tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he's smart, maybe
Welcome
too
to-
smart, huh?
He didn't buy the one.
No,
No, he's not one.
Gilbert,
Yep, that's right.
And then, yeah, there was like 3
and
families.
he would really like to be on it. Like I said, I told him, what I told him was we were just throwing names out there. so.
Okay, all right. And Toby has his hands in everything in Bellevue.
Yeah, I didn't know, if he'd be interested. I know he's on a lot of different committees in Bellevue.
Mhm. In
He's really
Chamber,
young,
Bank, yeah, he's in his later 20s,
Yeah,
later
yeah.
20s.
call that pretty young.
Yeah, absolutely. But
So I don't
he
know, I
brings-
guess.
he checks out the blank for a 20-something, which is the only one on the list. And he's a smart kid and always just been very engaging. Can I highlight him as a possible or not?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, if you want me to contact him, that's fine.
yeah. And then Monica, you threw out her name. And she is actually the chairperson of our zoning commission,
Right,
which that's the final step before it gets to your desk.
okay.
So I don't know that you want her. I mean, she's great.
No,
But-
I would say probably not.
Okay,
And at this point, I would, I threw it out there because I know she was
Well, I guess
active in political thinking,
this would be one question that I asked, because initially there was thought of, or it was thrown out there, maybe the zoning board plus some other people be on this plan. Do you want at least, I know you're gonna be sitting on it or at least coordinating it. Do you want one of your members on there, which case?
They can still come. They
Okay, so,
don't have to, because everything that this committee does is open to the public.
Yeah, I
So
understand.
they
that.
would be
Do you
welcome.
want a participating member that actually gets to vote and input from the zoning?
suggestion,
Sure.
just as we go down the list, just because I think Mike Burke is on your board of adjustment.
Commission.
On zoning commission,
Mhm,
so he would also be an active member. He's from the Bernard area,
mhm.
very knowledgeable. He's on 911 committee.
Mhm.
Calm, collected. Do we want boisterous? Do we want I mean, we certainly want some logic involved here, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah, but just don't have it.
Okay, so, I mean, I guess we can put a question between Mike and Monica.
Good.
As possibilities. Mike Storm, what is,
Let's stay, we skip Stevie.
oh, Stevie, okay,
I don't know, he's really active in trying to promote Bellevue and the Beta and the addition down south, and he's active in Macogata, so I don't know. I think we need somebody from the real estate industry to see where a vision like that goes, but I don't know if that's here in Macogata. Heather's very active here in Macogata, you know, I mean.
yeah, but it's a county thing, so it doesn't necessarily have to be.
Right.
Macokota.
Right.
If I would think Heather would be a good person. Also,
It'd be one or the other, probably not both.
yes, yes.
Which one would you guys lean towards? Heather?
I think Steve would have more input. I like Heather a lot. I don't know that Heather has time.
Yeah, and I was wondering if Stevie had time.
She's busy. Yeah, well, I think Stevie makes his time, you know.
Okay, so do you want me to highlight his name as a,
Well, I
Or
guess,
her?
you know, we could ask them too. Which would rather? I mean, we're looking at somebody from the industry, of course. For their input, and if I'm sure they will talk about it anyway, you know.
yeah, and both are still welcome to come to.
He
the
really has a
meetings.
vision. Sometimes, you know, in our office meetings, he's out there going, I'm too old for that, you know.
Okay, so highlight both of them or not?
Either or. Yeah,
Either
I mean,
or,
yeah.
well, your call, Mike.
No, not really my call,
Well,
but
all three of you guys, basically, because. I mean,
let
I
me
have
ask them
some
both.
input,
Let me
Okay.
ask them both.
But only 711,
I think so.
okay.
Well, I mean, they're still welcome to come.
Oh, they're still welcome
Yeah,
to
yeah.
come, but yeah. Okay, so Mike Storm,
So we just hired him as our new emergency medical coordinator.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's gonna oversee all the municipalities or EMS services. He took, what was the guy's name?
Ryan,
Ryan.
Ryan.
So he's a paramedic.
Okay,
So I think we need somebody from the medical field, and I just threw that out there too, just because I don't know how much. Is there somebody from the hospital or somebody, Nin, you think would better fit? mean,
when we talked about medical, I was thinking the two people that came to my mind was either Shad or Gene Hayes.
Makes sense. And out of the two, do you think who would have more input?
or three.
Or three,
Between-
out of the three, yeah. I know Shad's kind of laid back a little bit, but.
Yeah, I mean, he's a lot more political correct than I am probably, but he always has good insights though of things, and he knows a lot of what's going on places, so I don't know.
There's somebody online by phone. Could you identify yourself so we know who's here? Oh, you did?
This is Laura Karsten.
Oh, thanks, Laura.
Sure.
Yeah, and stop us at any time and give us some input.
How long you been on, Laura? You kind of know where we're at right now?
Yep, I've been on since 8/28.
Okay, So are we driving this in the right direction?
I think so.
All right. So, you guys are gonna make like between Shad and Mike, and who was the other one you said?
Gene Hayes.
Gene Hayes.
His
Yeah.
mom.
Is Shad also Monmouth area?
No, well, he grew up in that area, but he lives he lives over by the old golf course or by the new golf course. That ain't a golf course.
Okay. And, okay, so Mike, you threw out Charlie Peters also.
I did,
Okay,
just because I know he's active in.
what type of things is he active in? Just out of curiosity.
You know, I don't know what he all does, but he's always on somebody's board somewhere.
Okay.
And he farms quite a bit, you know, I don't know if you know Charlie or not.
Yeah, I know it.
And same reason I threw Chuck and Chris, just because business owners, that area,
They're both,
both active.
yeah. I'd like to throw out a name in place of them,
Mhm.
and that would be their daughter-in-law Kelly. When it checks off, a lower, gets another younger person in there. And-
Cornelius, did you?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
It's real.
yeah. And then too, we have a little more political balance in there too.
I don't know what you're saying, what do you mean by political balance? 'Cause
We're stacked with a lot of right wingers.
We're stacked with
How
what?
do you,
Lot of
how do you
right-wingers.
know that?
We are?
Yeah,
How do you know that?
I just kind of know who my people are.
I have no idea. I
Okay.
ever entered my mind.
Okay.
We-
They're people they're all people we know and get along with. I know, I get it.
I don't even know which. No, I didn't know that. I never.
Okay.
To me, I'm not super worried about that.
Okay. But yeah, Kelly is pretty active and not a native Jackson County and will maybe see
Is
things.
she Clinton? Cornelius, it sounds like Miles.
No, she's one of Chuck and.
She's married to Will, I
Oh.
believe.
Cornelius, because
You did.
Cornelius said.
You got it, Cornelius.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
I'm
spelled it.
like, is there like a
No.
different family? I was like.
No.
Yeah, I was Cornelius and I'm coming.
Yeah,
There it is.
excuse me.
Alright.
There we go. Cornelius, I just,
Yeah, I.
spell check didn't get me on that.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah,
Have you
spell
talked to her
check
at all?
didn't get me. No, I have not. I've never heard of her.
Okay.
Yeah, she kind of hit the ground running when she got here.
And she does a lot of stuff like I've done some stuff. So she does like the tractor safety and stuff like that for,
Will and her are both
Kid.
active. in
Oh,
it
yeah.
together.
Absolutely. Nice
agree.
young family.
All right.
All right, and we have Mike as a question mark between he and Monica. And then Jaden.
I would lean more toward Mike just because of the area that he represents maybe and.
Yeah.
Okay. Jaden, he checks off a few boxes. Infrastructure, local government, county government, not that the engineer's office is, this government, but, younger family, native, kind of where would he
I
want
don't
to
have a
see things
problem as
going?
long as he says, okay.
Yeah, we can still use him as
I mean, he's also on the Bellevue City Council. you know,
yes, yeah, so local government there.
So he was willing to get involved anyway.
Okay, and you talked to him?
I don't know.
Oh, you have not, we can talk. And anyway, you had just put down conservation on the email. I had talked to Nate and he recommended Jessica Wagner, who's one of his naturalists.
I'm good with that.
Okay. And Matt Wagner. Matt's the mayor of Lamont. He also works for Secondary Roads. He's also a very active member in the ATV club, if not on the board or was on the board of the ATV club. And he's he's gonna be Lamont, so he's in that north Suffolk County. So,
And he's busy too with, so I don't know, I just threw his name out. there.
Yeah.
that's your guys' call. I can highlight it or not.
Well, I mean, it's one of these things, if each one of us want somebody to make contact and see if he's willing. I just asked
Let's
him
see where we go
for,
with the rest of the list. I mean,
Let's just throw a question mark and not a
yeah,
highlight.
so Joe is from Lamont area also, and he would be very good, yes.
Jody. Now he's involved in,
Well, not Jody, I skipped,
oh, excuse me.
go back to Jody, yeah.
Okay,
So I would really like to have his wife instead of Jody, but I text her this, I don't know what her official title is, but she has something for the government somewhere. I think she's flies around a lot. She's either with her Internal Revenue Service or the government somewhere. It makes them pretty important. It says it, but I don't know where
Hmm.
official title is.
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it is. I asked her this morning. She has not yet told me, but what's the
Okay.
official title. So I guess that's a one or other, maybe.
Okay. The wife?
Yeah. Laura.
Okay.
Laura.
Yeah, and I don't know her, I don't believe.
She was a hinky from up that way.
Okay,
Listen. And I don't know which hinky either. I can't. It's HUEN, so I think they might be on the family farm out there, east, I think it is. Out there, if you go past the old antique place, then you take a left there on that little crossroad there that goes at the Y. Past Buck Severdings, and he's up on top of the hill.
okay. Okay. So I knew where his dad's farm was, but not her farm, but, all right, so next one, Dave Manning. He's very active in the community, former zoning director. He tried to get a comprehensive plan passed at least twice, and he wasn't sure if it wasn't 3 times. And he kind of knows some of the hangups and why they couldn't get it through. And he would be one of those in their 70s as a representative.
Yeah.
So
Good.
your thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Somebody else, one Joe Kilbert.
Joe Gilbert. Yeah, so he works for IDOT. Barely outside the city limits of Lamont. Firefighter, so he's a volunteer.
He's on 911 board also.
Oh, he is, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't know, is that one you'd lean towards? I don't know.
Joe?
Yeah.
I would, yes.
Okay. And I had another lady on here on the list that's Kathy. She never called me back, so but she was one of those farmers from the northwest part of the county. And that's why I threw her on there, active church member, business owner, farmer. Has her hands in a lot of things, but like I said, she never called back, so that would lead me to think that maybe.
that was a no.
That would, yeah, that's where I, yeah.
That's kind of where
That's kind of why the Y didn't make the column there, so, and then the next one is a Bellevue resident. She's retired, is involved in the community, and she's actually an active member of the, Bellevue Zoning Board of Adjustment. That's why I had her on there.
I think she's also on the utility board, I would say.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, I didn't know everything she was on, but I know she
Yeah,
has touched a lot of
She's
things.
not a council member anymore, but she was.
Right, but I know she's not, I think she's still on the zoning board of adjustment, I think, but maybe not.
I don't.
Okay, so that's your call, so I don't know what you think about that.
Well, if we have Toby and who we have, I mean, we're talking.
I was gonna say, we want to look at our numbers of where we got people coming from too.
Right.
Teresa's in, so then we'd have it decided about Tom or Toby. I guess we said if Toby would do it, we all agreed to that, correct?
Yeah, we did.
And then what, is Tom come to third call or does Lucy come to the third call? Yeah, I mean, what do you,
Yeah,
you pulling 3 or 4
That's-
people out of Bellevue, that's,
that's a lot of people out of Bellevue, and then you
Right.
have my too.
and we have not decided on that. Are we
You know,
asking him?
Mike Storm or Shad or Gene, I mean,
Okay.
we have a couple, cause like Steve Nemers or Heather,
Mhm. And I would throw another Bellevue possibly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we can. I won't mark that one, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Did
so
you were not, you said?
I did not,
Okay,
because you're right, we're stacking Bellevue pretty tight. And we-
I'm down to, I don't want to push anybody here, but we have a public hearing. Steve Kaler, I would say yes.
Yes.
And Scott, I'm fine with Scott if he wants to do it.
He said he would.
And did you already put Patricia down or are we talking?
We don't have any, well, she would be possible Sebula area or the Johnson.
And I'm not opposed to both of them representing that area and or other interests, you know.
It gives us 50.
Nan, do you have some names?
No, I just kind of really had the only other name I thought of was like, you know, when we were talking farmers or whatever, and kind of the Baldwin area would be Tabor. Denise, is it?
So, let me think, which one is
Brian,
Brian
Brian?
is active in, he's in the wine business, yeah, right?
no, Brian's never been,
That's the brother,
that's his cousins or dad's
our
cousin.
cousin too. Yeah.
And
And Phil, he's retired, ain't he?
he's not in our county, is he?
He's in Clinton.
Yeah.
He's in Iowa City. Okay.
All right,
I was
and
thinking more Brian or his wife,
D,
Dee.
More than welcome. I mean, I don't think Rollrider would probably do it. He's active in other stuff, but
which one?
Bill,
No.
Yeah, D, Bill, you guys tell me who you want me to
Well,
contact.
at this point, like I say, just off the names that I thought we were kind of agreeing with, I'm at 15. Did we want a committee that big, or do we want to kind of, you know, simmer this list down to make sure we got hard communication or hard?
Well, and we don't know that all the people we got on the list are gonna do it either, so.
But, you know,
For
figure
sure.
out where we're at and kind of look and see how they lay out demographically, geographically. And see
Yeah.
where we want or
Okay.
need.
so we got about, we can also come back to this, but we got about 2 minutes. before.
Okay, so,
So.
Maybe Lori, can you do that? Kind of go through who we've said yet, named off and said yeah to, and then see, you know, kind of do a tally of that we're getting all areas.
okay, so I have Travis Kiefer, Teresa Weinstein,
Yep.
so I have Preston Bellevue. Was Tom Roth a yes or a no for you guys?
I guess
We had
I would
Teresa.
use a no until we find out if Toby would want to join or, yeah,
Okay.
you know.
All right.
And then it's a toss up between Lucy and Tom, whatever you want to do there.
Okay, and then we have Curtis Johnson.
Yep.
Toby
I'll contact
Beasley,
him.
pardon me?
I'll contact him.
Okay, good, because I don't have his number. So Toby,
Who's
Um,
contacting?
I can call Toby if we need to. And Travis, did you want me to call Travis and Teresa too?
Yes. No, Teresa's in. She's in.
Oh, okay,
Travis or Nancy, yeah, one of the two.
okay, we got Travis, that
Okay.
was the one I highlighted for you
Okay,
guys.
and I'll ask Stevie and Heather.
Okay, so Toby, did you guys decide how you want to contact Mike Storm first, Shad or Gene?
Then you want to talk to them all and see how they feel?
Yep.
Okay.
I will do that.
Okay, Kelly Corneliuson, or excuse me. Kelly Cornelius. So, yeah, so you want me to call her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Mike Burke was a question mark.
So question mark means what? Yes, contact him or no?
That was, you guys were leaning between him and Monica, but,
Oh, no.
and then also someone from the northwest corner, but I think we have that covered.
I
So,
would contact him and see if he wants to do it.
okay,
I can do that.
okay, Mike, okay,
Yeah.
and,
Jaden, you're
yeah,
here. We can serve on that committee?
What's that?
Comprehensive plan.
Just say yes, Jaden, just say yes.
We don't have a trade.
condition of employment. Jessica Wagner, I'll reach out to Jess.
Yeah.
Matt Wagner was a question mark, you guys, so we kind of left that.
Yeah.
And Mike, did you want to reach out to Laura Martins again?
I will.
Okay. Dave Manning, I'll cover
Good,
him.
Good, good, good,
Joe Kilberg,
good.
me,
Yep.
and Steve Kaler, is he already on or,
Yeah, he was for the city, that's when the focus elected.
okay, also, okay, got it.
Will he say yes?
He did,
Oh, he did.
Okay, got it. And then Scott Jett, was that one of your contacts?
yeah, he
Don?
said he would do it.
Okay. And then Patricia Larson,
Mhm,
you've already reached out to her?
mhm.
Okay. Heather Gilmore, you're reaching out to?
Heather,
And-
no,
Heather,
Excuse me,
Steve,
Heather or Steve.
Heather's, okay, excuse me, I said
Heather.
Gilmore, wrong last name.
Oh, yeah.
That's her old last name.
That's the right last name just a long time ago.
Yeah, D Tabor, did you want me to reach out to her?
yeah,
Sure.
I think. Yeah, but
Live above hearing. Right here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, guys.
Good morning, everyone. I apologize, we're a couple minutes late here. We had a work session this morning. Welcome you here today to the Jackson County Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, August 1st, if you can believe that, of 2023. And with us today I have Don Schwenker. Lynn is on us by, joined us by Zoom today. Lisa Smith,
Morning.
our auditor, Bjorn, our IT individual, and Lou Ann, our executive assistant, is in the background. First on our agenda today is a public hearing on the vacation of section of 22nd Street. And can we pull that up or no? The reference. And so I will open the public hearing for any comments. I have not received any calls or comments
Nothing.
regarding.
Nothing. I'm guessing most people didn't even know it was ours.
We reached out to all the utilities in that area and they're not. We either, of the ones, of all of them that we've contacted, we have either received, we have no affected utilities in the area or it's been radio silent, so.
Yeah.
But we sent them out certified mail and they've got, they've received it, but so we have not received any comments back from utilities.
All right,
So any other comments? Concerns? Input?
motion to close public hearing.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried. So, discussion and possible action on the resolution for 22nd Street vacation.
So this is resolution number 982-08-01-2023.
We received, there's been any changes since this last night when we have the resolution by email? I don't have it here, correct? That I see,
No. Should be in your binder.
This resolution,
Yes.
those two.
well, there's this resolution. Put that for Bellevue.
That is correct. The other resolution is for the 308th Street. Yeah.
Lisa, can you give that number again for me, please?
So my resolution number is 982-08-01-2023.
Thank you.
Pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve,
I'll-
solution for the easement vacation. Number as listed 982-08-01-2023.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve resolution as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right. Do we have any other visitors or citizens today with us that would like to approach the board or? If not, we will just move right on to Beth, who's not here. Marty's not here.
No, just quick question.
That's it, Jaden.
Under yours, it says resolution for 22nd Street vacation, then down at 10:20, it also said Taikini. Discussion possible motion for resolution for 22nd Street vacation.
It might just be on
Is
the
that-
invoice, it's the same
Okay.
thing. So
Alright.
what you guys just did was, we'll take care of that.
Just making sure.
And
You want me to give a quick update, I guess? on-
yes, I would
just
like
while
a
we're
quick
waiting?
update, as long as you're here. And do you expect Todd to be back? And-
Yes,
Okay.
okay, he'll be here at the 10:21. He had something come up, so that's why he pushed.
Not a
it
problem.
back. So we're still closing out I-61 overlay project. The 49th Street Bridge over by Mike Franzen's place, that road is now closed. Dan Schrader's gonna get molding equipment and cranes in this week. And Thursday we'll start actual construction demo work.
On the old bridge
Yep, the old
where
bridge.
the road has been closed forever.
No, 49th Street, so do you know?
Oh, that's out.
Where Mike Franzen,
Yeah.
just be just west of his place.
Okay.
It's right here, probably be getting pretty close to the county line right there,
Okay.
but that bridge road got closed on Monday and they're going to, like I said, they're moving equipment in from Monday until Thursday, and starting Thursday, they're gonna start or clearing some land or the trees, and removing the bridge.
Cool.
I talked to him too about the upcoming day labor bridges and still plans for a mid-September start date on that, so. But that may change over depending on how the 49th Street Bridge goes, because when that crew gets done with whatever they're doing there. He's gonna move that said crew then to day laborers and continue on.
Cool.
And patching should be wrapped up this week. D55, I don't know if it'll be today or tomorrow, honestly, but this week for sure.
Is reclaiming going better now with us getting some rain?
It has helped.
Did we get a lot of washouts? Because I know the northern part of the county got hit substantially more on Friday night.
Yeah, and they actually are not, they did not retrieve yesterday's to solely focus on grading the roads due to all the washouts. And today we have, right now, actually, they're in a safety meeting right now from 8 till 11. And then after that, their retrieval's on hold today too. They're gonna go out and just do some routine blading, touch up some roads and looking to start the retrieval process back up tomorrow, assuming all the roads get touched. But yeah, that storm that came through Friday created quite a mess, a lot of trees down. I know some of our guys were out till 1:30 Friday night, Saturday morning, clearing trees from all that wind and tornado. So, but
Yeah.
to answer your question, yes, the retrieval process with the rain that we've had recently, even prior to the Friday rain, has helped substantially.
Do you know, if they had a chance to hit High Bridge yesterday? I know they had some washouts and stuff too, we talked about.
I made a note to Roger and he was gonna have the guys in the lot shop go over there and check on
Okay.
it, so if it wasn't, and they were touching up with some other roads yesterday too in that area, since that was the hardest hit
Right.
area, but it was on their list.
Well, they got 3.5. In a short time.
I think some even got 4 possibly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
328, I believe it's 328. Has that been retrieved all the way through?
Yep.
Okay, I drove part of it. My wife's car was fairly clean yet, so I turned around. But it looked like, so, that road was extra wide.
It was probably on average 36 feet wide.
Okay, so that's pretty wide.
This is
So I noticed that we did take a lot
Mhm.
off of the edges.
Mhm.
So then the gravel's in the middle, so the remainder dirt part, that's just gonna be grass shoulder.
Mhm.
That's there, okay.
Yep.
Okay, once that stiffens up, and then the rest of it, will they seed that or not, just let that come in? Cause there's a lot of dirt around.
That there is, that one's probably been one of our more extensive.
Yeah.
ones, just due to the width of
Right,
that road. So
right.
We're gonna have to look at that.
So
yeah.
I think, logically, we might wanna throw some seed on there. I don't know if we still have the hydro seeder in operation, but,
We'd have to get some.
We do.
yeah.
I don't know if they should get hydro mulch too for it, because without. just
Yeah.
Laying the seed down doesn't do much if you don't get mulch on top of it.
Right.
But yeah, that one. We should look.
You know,
at.
unless we see that we don't have a straw blower, do we? Like I said, I did go all the way through from the part I did drive. I would say it needs to, I mean, I just don't want it to grow up in weeds.
Yep.
You know,
Mhm.
that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'll mention something to Todd, because that, like you said, I did notice that as well, and it's,
Well, I mean, them ditches now, I mean, they got a big, you know, flat spot in there where you got good drainage, but. You know, if it just all grows up in weeds, it ain't gonna do us any good, yeah.
it really turned out to be the picture perfect. grass
It
field,
did,
honestly.
it really did, I mean, compared to what it was, I mean, that thing was 4 vehicle wide most of the way, you know.
At least we were able to work with the property owner along there, that farms.
And any
all that to
complaints?
avoid. Surprisingly, no.
That is surprisingly, yeah, but.
There have been, with the roads that they've been doing, so I go out with our GPS equipment and take shots of the roads that we're retrieving ahead of time. So we can get a before and after, and when I'm out there doing the before shots, I do get stopped from people that see me out there and. They do compliment, they do like what they're seeing, because they either want to live on the roads that we're redoing, or drive them, or see us out and about, but. Honestly, most of it's been, they like what we're doing, and they're glad to see the crown put in the roads,
Mhm.
so.
I know this last week down at the fairgrounds, I had a lot of really good compliments on it.
Yeah, and they like the actually fact that, they like the fact that they can actually see the different, like, and there's actual visible changes to it, so they think it's really working.
And
And
I think,
if you're familiar with 328, I would take a drive over there, if you were familiar with it before, it was. Tremendously wide, you know, and it just kept getting squashed down, well, it used to be an old state highway,
yes, State Highway 113, I don't, it wasn't ever paved, but it was a state highway, 113, 113.
Okay. So anyway, I appreciate it, any other updates?
Not that I have today. Other than this,
Appreciate it, thanks, Jaden. All right, so. Back to my agenda, we'll be joined by Beth Gerlach, our Jackson County Treasurer. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so I have two agenda items today. The first one is the semi-annual report.
That's this one.
Yes, January through June. So same setup as I usually go through. It's a big packet full of numbers. The first part of it is the semi-annual settlement that shows the auditor's ledger, any outstanding warrants, and then the treasurer's ledger. So that goes through each fund that we have and compares the balance that we keep, and shows that we do match what we're supposed to have for that day. At the bottom, you'll see the net balance on hand, the outstanding warrants, and then the treasurer's balance of $20,819,249.38. So that is the number that I balanced to on that day. The next few pages are all part of this first report spreadsheet here. It just breaks down the numbers even further. So the first half of that page I'm looking at here.
Where'd you get that at?
Got a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, we got it, last week, huh?
You don't have a copy?
Yeah,
Do you want to make
be
a
your
copy?
binder. someplace down.
I don't see it.
Mine was in my folder, but I took it out, took it with me.
If not, you know what, Don, have my copy. Here.
Mhm. So page 3, I think it would be.
Mhm.
And that first half goes over all of the cash on hand in office and in banks. We come to that 20,819,249.38 number there, and then halfway down. And then the second half breaks down with the interest that we received for June. And that brings us to the other number that I balanced to, which is 20,765,661.06. So we'll see those numbers throughout the whole packet, but the next few pages just break this report down even further. So the next page is us cash counting, coins, bills, down to every last penny, to come up with the amount at the bottom that we keep in office. And then the total in the checking accounts and investment accounts is the next page.
You never have to throw any pennies in, right?
No. And then the next page is the debits and credit card transactions that we had processed but hadn't received deposit for as of June 30th. That also goes on the report, so 7,791.20 in debit and credit cards. And then the next is web renewals, which is processed online but not yet received deposit for. They're all broken down to $14,010.26. And then the next page is the amount that we have on deposit on certificate of deposit on Bobby statement. So 670,676. And the next page is the semi-annual report that gets published in the newspaper. And that breaks down January balances, revenues, disbursements, the fund balances, and then the outstanding warrants. So on fund balance June, you'll see that number again, the 20,819,249.38, and also the auditor's outstanding warrants number that we already seen of 1,134,288.54 at the bottom there. I did print the detailed revenue and disbursements just for you guys to see. That doesn't get published, but it breaks down those columns, the revenues and disbursements on the next few pages. That's the breakdown of those numbers. And then this page here is the spreadsheet that I balance to every day. So those numbers that we've already discussed show total cash amount of the 20,819,249.38. That's in the third column, 3/4 of the way down. I balance to that number every day. Also cash in bank, which would be what we have on deposit of 20,765,661.06 as of June 30th. And the cash in office of 53,588.32 on that day. So that would be what we balance to on June 30th. And then the last page is also a daily balance report. It just shows all of the balances in the bank accounts and investment accounts that we have on deposit. That number then matches the middle column, cash and bank of 20,765,661.06. And the very last page is one more spreadsheet that I do at the end of the month that the auditors have requested I continue to do. So that just takes all of the numbers that are in this packet and condenses them into one report, showing the interest earned that I balanced to for every bank account on the top half, and their register balances. So that's the reconciliation from the bank account statement to what we have on file. And then also it breaks down, again, the debit and credit cards that were in transit, hadn't gotten deposits for, the web payments we hadn't got deposits for, the cash that we keep in office, any return checks that we're holding, which this month we did have some, $1,811. And then the checks in office at the end of the month too. That's what we would have collected, but still hadn't been taken to the bank for that day. And that all comes down to that magic number at the bottom, 20,819,249.58. So that's
Any questions for Beth? Well, I want to thank you and your staff for balancing. You see a lot of numbers here and you say you balance this to the sheet you use to balance every day, and I can't phantom the idea of I'm missing $1.30 here and I've got to go back and find it.
yeah, or less. 45 cents gave us a real tough time one day. We found it.
And I can only imagine that it's important to keep up daily for an operation like that. Appreciate it.
So do you?
So I would need a motion to accept and authorize publication of the county treasurer's semi-annual report from January 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2023.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the semi-annual report as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
And then, do you want me to get signatures now on my copy?
I would go ahead with your next,
Do it?
yeah, I have to crossover. I will just snap.
Okay. Next on my agenda is the proposal I received from O'Meara Custom Products Incorporated and Sheets Construction for the counter project. We had, if you remember, just put a rough estimate in my budget of 10,000 to redo the counter. These numbers are a little bit higher. But that was, again, just me doing an estimate in my head and throwing something in the budget. So I have talked with Marty a few times already about this, and he said that he would be willing and able to drop the electrical and install an outlet. That's what the extra $1,000 allowance is for on the Sheets construction bid. We want the option to have a third computer station in the middle of the counter, and fiber optics is already there, right?
Network, yeah.
Network, whatever you call it.
Yep.
Network is already there. We just don't have an outlet to plug into there. There's one on each end. There's not one in the middle. So I requested that to be added in. And they put $1,000 allowance in there for Stickley Electric to do that. But Marty is saying that he can handle doing that himself to drop the cost a little bit.
So. Marty, could you weigh in on this whole project a little bit?
The only other question, Marty, too, that I had was, is that Sheets also included removal and disposal of the existing metal cabinets and countertops at the front window in their bid? Is that something that you could also do?
Yes,
That would also drop the
if the
cost.
board okay, yes.
So that would help bring that 4,278 down.
And your overall thought of the project itself, as far as. I know we've talked about this before, you know, this office is gonna get this. This one's gonna want this, and this one's gonna want this. We talked about making it uniform somewhat somehow. I know you mentioned another facility somewhere that we should go look at. Is this in the scope of what you're thinking, or?
I'm just kind of in the middle here. Again, if we're gonna do something with the whole building and change it so it's like a lockdown, so you can lock it down, then that might not work. But if you're gonna just go as free as every office wants, that's what she wants, then that's what she should get.
Mhm. You can probably get that if you didn't get the other.
So Beth, can you describe a little bit what you're looking for or at?
When you first sent it out, was that just an email or was that a printed copy?
I sent it to Luann with my initial request to get on the agenda. I think that was mid. Middle of the month, maybe, middle of July. Sorry, I assume you guys already looked at it.
I looked at it when I received it. I don't remember if it was just an email.
So you did get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember the bottom number being maybe in the 16 ranges. Am I right?
No, it was for, well, yeah, 8, 12, 13.
Okay, but we
25,800.
Okay, and we can subtract some of that. I mean, you're talking 1,000 here and disposal here, and that's what I'm wondering. I'm still envisioning, or somebody hears chatter around this building, obviously. Our other offices, I mean, we talked about the attorney's office also several times, and if we're gonna do something? Is all officers gonna be uniform? Or are we doing this one, waiting for the next one to come? Obviously, your office feels secure.
Mhm.
I don't know. The rest of the board opinion on
Yeah.
where we're going with the courthouse.
Where we stand as far as an enclosure, we tried it and it didn't work. We had the built-in enclosure for COVID. It was terrible. Nobody could hear us. People were bending down to talk through a little open air space.
I get it.
And even right now, when people talk to us with the hanging plexiglass, it's right in their face. They move over to where the crack is so they can talk to us through that. So it pretty much alleviates any stuff from flying at us. That's the whole reason the plexiglass is there, so. It's not working that way right now.
I guess I'm not past the COVID thing. I'm more into security.
Do you take in more money than anybody in here?
Mhm.
Do you feel any safety concerns whatsoever?
I don't feel any threat. I mean, we don't take a lot of cash,
Mhm.
a lot of people pay with card or check. So it's not like we have an abundance of that
Do you take?
anywhere in
Are
office.
people coming from court to pay fines and fees and all
Not to
that?
me, that's all clerk of court. It's just the general public that we collect from, and that's taxes and registration renewals and title transfers essentially.
I mean, we talked about the whole fob thing, we talked about the counters and security and. I don't know which way to go, I should say. I guess, Lisa, is your office intending a proposal also maybe to secure better than the counter that you currently have as far as
We have
if
to
you
be
say a
very
breezeway or whatever it might
We
be?
haven't really talked as an office about this. We did take our shields down because we are, off election. Will we put them back up during election time? I don't know. Right now, everybody feels safe as far as COVID. If we would do anything, I would not be in favor of your open concept. I would be more in favor of what Arlene has as far as like an entryway or a vestibule or whatever with a door. It would take very little for us to do that. It would be very easy, but I don't want to be in a situation with you because as we're working with voters to vote absentee, I definitely would not want to have an issue as far as if they could hear us. So for that reason,
Yeah, you want more privacy and I want it to be.
yeah.
I mean, it's horrible to have an enclosure.
So this whole concept that you're here is basically bringing the countertop out so people can work on have a working
yeah, it's
writing area on the outside here.
Yeah, it's a 9 1/4 inch overhang.
Yeah, which you
then
don't
we
have
would-
any now.
We
correct?
don't have any, we would then feel comfortable to drop the plexiglass and just have that much more space.
So access to you or your personnel would be over the counter
Mhm,
very easily.
mhm.
That's also a tall counter, correct?
It's, taller. Mhm,
I mean,
Oh, same.
I think I could still get over
Yeah.
No.
I don't know, I'd like to see that roll.
Bjorn, can you turn the camera around so we can see Mike go scale the counter?
Yeah, yeah, essentially that's what it is it's wider, it keeps people back further at a distance.
So
Beth, in your proposal there, does it have a spot for a handicap though?
No, and I think we talked about that, right, Marty, and you said it shouldn't be required.
I think it would work, the hangover, overhang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Overhang.
the overhang that you have, I think will work. Cause it's within the limits of the ADA.
Mhm.
And see, for voting, what we do is we bring a table in to block off the entryway. That's
Well,
lower, and so that's handicap
see, you're a
accessible.
little different there with that open space after you come in the door. Yeah, that's not
So
just,
we put the table there for handicap.
yeah, and that's not really secure either.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand you took the glass down or the plexiglass and. I guess I'm just wondering where we're going. I'm in the same boat with Marty. If each one is gonna be considered, are we gonna make it all the same? Or we're gonna say, yeah, we're fine with your proposal, we'll go with it? Or we're okay with not having any glass or whatever in front of you? It's your customers are still basically in the hall. They're not in a vestibule either or a.
Yeah, that's the way I would like to leave it. If you're gonna do something that's gonna enclose us, then you basically would have to back our counter up into the office and have a
Mhm.
wall where they walk
Right.
through a door and
Right,
get stuck in a small little
You
area.
still have
And
the-
for the number of people she can have standing there at one time, that's gonna make that tight too.
So could you just, so Mike doesn't feel free to scale your counter, could you bring that garage door down part way to just give yourself more of a wide open but yet narrower opening, so it would be a lot harder for somebody to come up over the counter, understanding that there's been no history of that.
Right.
whatsoever.
Yeah. I don't know that it would stay there on its own
Yeah.
because it's spring loaded. So,
so we're still intending to
Possibly.
use that roll-up door.
yeah,
I mean, I know we had an issue with that roll-up door in the past.
yeah, yes.
But you're past that, or your staff
Well,
is past that, or what?
It's still an issue. They just do it anyway. The way they have to lean over the counter to lift is hard on the shoulders, but like Jack made a really good point. They can walk out in the hallway and open it just the same, and then that wouldn't be so much stress on the
Well,
shoulders.
yeah,
Because
but now you're gonna have an overhang though, so it's gonna be that.
Well, it's only 9
Yeah.
1/4 inches. It's still.
We
easier
never did
than-
find a roller or
3
an
feet.
orbital motor or something that
we
worked.
did, but it was like $5,000 or $6,000 they wanted to put it on.
Well, it was 10.
Well,
Yeah,
I know it was,
the bid I got was.
Large.
And we
10,000.
couldn't adjust them springs either to work that roller.
it is what it is.
It's you said it's adjusted to where it can.
According to the people that put it in, it is what it is.
What's MacGyver say about it? Does he
Duct tape.
can put a garage door spring up over there?
Maybe we can get a hold of Tim and he can put something up
All
there.
right, what's your final input here, Marty, on this project?
It's, like I said, if we're gonna do the whole building, I think we ought to go check it out first. But if you're not, then what she wants is what she probably should get, you know?
Well, I think each office has an individual and unique need of access,
Yeah.
depending on what they do in that office, and with
It's-
that,
The amount of people that we see in a day is just not comparable to any other office in the courthouse. It's just not, that's just the nature of our office. When people are entering the courthouse, I would say 90% of them are gonna come to our office.
right?
And back in the day, their countertop used to be back in, and you used to go in through the door and then back out. You know that,
Right, that's
They had two
the
doors.
original.
the original, yes.
You can see, yeah, that was a doorway and then our door. that's
Yeah, and
right.
I don't know if there was another door on this side, but it used to be back in and closed in, yes.
With like glass.
Which would take up a lot of space, and again, it would be cumbersome, or people would be waiting in the hall anyway because they couldn't get in, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
So. I think you'd be losing kind of space. I'm not really interested, well, I shouldn't say I'm not interested. I'm not worried about making everything uniform. If this is your desire, I hope you're here for.
Yeah, I just
period of
know that from experience with us trying the enclosure, even with speaking holes or whatever you might try, people can't hear us. If there's more than one person in the hallway and as a customer, it's 2 conversations going on. It's even with the plexiglass.
Yeah, I can
barrier,
see that.
it's-
I
it's
don't like
hard
talking to
hear.
that little.
Yeah,
hole
and that
either,
little
where nobody
hole
can
is,
hear me, and I can't hear that.
it's not gonna help
I
us.
know when I'm paying over there, it's like the plexiglass.
It's
For you to
right in
put your
front of your
hand under the
face.
cup,
Yeah.
the plexiglass is literally about 5
And
inches.
that's
from your
why-
face.
Instead of mouth spray, we get that too, but mostly it's nose bumps and forehead bumps because it's just right in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people complain about that a lot. So that's our idea to take that down, once the counter is extended a little bit.
To me, it
Give
goes
us
back to
more
the security
space.
part of it again, you know, I mean. I'm not really concerned about it, but does the security committee have an issue with it?
I don't know what you would do to make it more secure without enclosing it,
Right,
so,
right, that's what I'm saying.
and I don't want that.
You know? So it's either yeah or nay.
Well, the only other thing, kind of going with Don's idea of the garage door partway down, instead of the garage door, could you station a fixed plexiglass? It just kind of close that upper opening to keep people from having a bigger place to climb over the counter. I don't know that.
If you bring it down that far, you're still in your face with the plexiglass.
Yeah.
Far enough that they can't crawl under is.
Yeah, is this much.
Well, I'm not saying they can't crawl under, but it's not quite as easy to just, put your hands on the countertops and leap over type of deal.
I guess I'm either gonna have it secured
Or open, I don't know that there's a medium way to do it.
I'm trying to. You threw out a number, you said like 12 or 13, I'm not seeing that in
So
there.
I
or, well,
think.
that's a 9.
89 plus.
This one
yeah,
plus the-
Oh, okay, no, it's one's to buy it, the other one's to install. Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's the thing, O'Mara's just makes the product, they don't do installation.
Okay.
So that's what they would build for us, would be the cabinets, countertops. And then we have to have someone else come and install it. And that would be Sheets Bid. And Sheets Bid does have that $1,000 extra for the electrical from Stickley, which hopefully we could get rid of. And then also the removal and just the first bullet point, removal and dispose of existing metal
So
cabinets.
there's no number on that.
There's no number on that. I don't know what they would drop off to not have to do that. But it would be something.
I know you had 10,000 in your budget for this. Did you have it? Wasn't there two places you were kind of, or?
It's the way my budget is set up is I had two halves. I have the motor vehicle
Mhm.
and then the treasury. And so there's I think 5,000 in one and 5,000 in the other,
Okay.
just split in half. Yeah, so then maybe we'd be closer to 12,000.
Is there a time frame in which this is all to happen?
We're hoping by December 31st, because that's when Marty retires.
O'Mara's bid, was there a deadline on O'Mara's?
Sheets actually mentioned doing it in December. November, December, they want to do it in the winter. And he said he's been in conversation with Tim O'Mara, and that would work better for him as well. So that's kind of the
Okay,
time
so
frame that we've talked about.
this proposal come on 4/17 and it says good for 30 days, so I don't know if it's good.
Yeah, right. I would assume it still is. I guess I can double check with Tim.
Yes, I would double check that, and I would double check what they would throw off if we did the removal.
Okay, I can do that too.
I guess if we approve this and O'Mara did the countertop, do we got a place to store it until sheets, or would they hold it, or how does that work?
I think
I don't think Tim is probably
Hold on.
concerned to.
yeah, I think he would hold on to it until it's ready to be.
He does a
delivered
lot of
and
work here in
They can do it
town.
one day install. Do they know that?
Oh, well, she's said like a day and a half to 2 days. So.
So is it possible for you to operate out of the driver's license station to send them in through that way, or how do you plan?
Well, but we talked about that, staying open and working through there. Or having them do it on a Saturday
Okay,
where we wouldn't have to close. Or if we do have to close, hopefully it would only be for
half
one
a,
day.
half a day on,
Yeah,
or 1 day.
yeah. But
So I guess it's a matter of the board saying, we're gonna be, the whole courthouse is gonna look like this, or each office is gonna come with a proposal and. I guess I can't
yeah,
foresee
mine's not.
the future, who might be after you
Mhm,
and be satisfied, and I'm not changing it again, I'm just gonna say no, you know,
Mhm.
that this is. Well, then somebody comes and says, well, I'm not secure. I don't feel safe,
mhm.
then what? Marty, are you listening?
Yes.
So if we do the new proposal, how do we make it? So nobody can crawl in, you gotta put plexiglass up like you did in the recorders, correct? Or the glass,
Well, there's several ways you can do it. You know, just make something yay tall, so they can't just fly over the counter. You know, again,
I've seen
I don't
them
work in there,
before.
so I don't really know how it is.
so I guess if you were gonna do that at some point, you could leave a space underneath and then have, and then a space over the top, it's not like they could.
Yeah, I guess.
I know the city office, they have a big glass that comes down, leaving about a 1 foot gap at the bottom with a little voice box in the middle.
Mhm. But you probably don't have the hallway echoing or the amount of people in the hallway at one time that we do either. That's what really causes the issues.
And the sliding doors are right by her office too, that make noise when they open and shut, open and shut.
We can just move them into the old room. Wouldn't
I'm okay with the proposal, I am, other than. Somebody coming back to me, well, that office got this, I want this. You know, I don't want to tit and tat here, you know, but.
Yeah, I guess if you are worried about like the security aspect of it, like Marty said, you could essentially put a piece of.
Yeah.
It'd have to be plexiglass or glass or something across the.
We
2
already
feet
have the
wide
frame
across
built.
the center.
It's
So
gone.
we are,
We took it apart.
You already have the what?
don't have to worry about it. We had a frame built.
I was told it wasn't gonna be used, so we took it apart and we
The
kept
one
the
that we
glass, the
had in
wood's
here.
gone.
My suggestion, when you had a frame, my suggestion was gonna just put half plexiglass in,
Yeah.
but.
And,
it's frame.
and that could be
Mhm.
for the
And
next
that's-
regime, I don't know, that could be.
Yeah, if, I'm
30 years
just
from
saying,
now,
if that's your worry for the future, I don't want that. I don't want that, but if that's your worry
And
for
I'm not, I
security,
don't think anybody can mandate that to us, can.
yeah, make you do it, I don't know. But that's the feedback that I've gotten from the public and from my staff, is that enclosure doesn't work for our
Okay,
setup.
well. we
Could you
discussed
make it
here,
just, so it's open, no glass, but just put, I don't wanna say bars, but just, I guess my concern would be just so nobody could jump over the counter. Make them work to get at you, cause the way things go around the world here nowadays, I would want some kind of a protection, but that's just.
But we
That's
had
what I
a
said.
mistake.
That's why we got the vestibule down.
The end
Put her down the hall.
You know.
through, I mean, you do have a.
Going,
Um,
another aspect to look on that. And I don't know what it would cost and what the proposal would be is kind of your countertops, but having 3 divided out stations. You know, like with kind of center dividers. Type of thing.
Yeah,
Something like that would work, that would make it harder for people to, one, get through there than having that whole 8-foot countertop.
and I mean, at times we have
The-
four people.
Where would the
Working
extra
counter.
come from? Where'd that come out of? If we're talking about a
Marty's
12 or
budget, Marty, didn't you say
$13,000
you would cover the extra for me? Yeah.
No, I don't believe I did. Thanks for asking.
Capital improvement or what would that come out?
You would have, just let us know.
I mean, it surely could, and it would be capital, capital
only
improvement,
talking
basically a
about
courthouse,
Right.
yeah.
I know you've been working on this for a while, at least I think.
Mhm.
I have, it's been really times like a lot of time in between getting them to get here. And then getting a proposal, and then I had, what's his name, Stockham, come look at it. He decided he didn't want to put a bid in, so then I had to look for someone else. That's why I've got sheets here. So, yeah, basically since April.
Motion to approve.
Did you hear that, Nan?
I did not. I keep getting cut out and I get a green bay thing that pops up. I don't know.
So John,
I maybe there.
I made a motion, we approve this. We can use her budget that she has, and if we need to, we can use the capital improvement fund to cover the extra.
I'll second that.
a motion and a second to approve the counter project as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye,
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Marty?
Morning.
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 Jackson County Maintenance Department.
I really don't have much to report. I've been doing a lot of vacation, routine maintenance. I'm kind of waiting on a yes or no on the handrail out here. I'd like to build that. The last time I suggested it, you didn't really give me permission to do it, but I think we need to build the handrail around the parking lot. Because there's a drop off there that somebody could step off of, knowing that there is.
I thought,
Right here by the dumpsters.
Yeah.
The handrail is gone. It rusted off.
Well, the weeds are about this tall. That'll stop them when they
No, they're not.
going down the ramp,
No,
going down the ramp,
no, I weeded it yesterday or day before.
going down the ramp. I looked this morning.
Okay, I may have missed
I
that.
haven't seen, this is a side note, I haven't seen you talk about weeds. Can we just make sure we have that little strip of grass across the street in our newly acquired parking lot? As far as the lawn mowing, weed eating, whatever.
I mowed it too, last time I mowed the lawn, yeah.
Just
And just another, the reshape of the parking lot seems to help. We haven't had any water in the building.
rain was what I did.
It is.
Yeah, but yeah. I will get the weed, but other than that, we're doing routine maintenance. My man Bob is working out fine. I am showing him how to change ballasts and light bulbs. We are starting to put LEDs in through there. You just take the valves out, rewire it. I am showing him how to do that. Other little things that we need done in here. So if I'm not here, he can handle it. When I was on vacation a week ago, the hot water heater, he handled it awesome, called the plumber. He's working out really good.
good to hear.
Have you been down to, have we got the request from the senior center building? Is that correct? Where talked about the ramp?
Mhm.
Did you talk to somebody down there about it?
Every time I go down there, there's nobody there.
Somebody's gotta be there during the day or sometime. So we have to make an appointment with
Yeah.
somebody. Or what about the lock on the door?
Just here lately. They had new keys made. If it's the one here lately, they had new keys made. The key was not proper. I went to get new keys made and
It was something regarding a tumble turn quote. They had a tumble turn quote and you told me when we talked about it.
you're talking about the front door now.
Oh,
Okay,
that's what they have on their list.
right, right. I passed that information on that the gal that does the locksmith that does the work down there suggested that they do that because then somebody could lock the door and nobody could get it unlocked. Or something like that, you know, she suggested, that's why they put a tumbler on there so that not anybody could lock the door. And I passed that information on to, is it Kimberly?
Kimberly's.
Yeah. Yeah, or somebody down there, and they said they would check into it and go from there.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I want to go back to what you originally said, Marty. You had keys made?
No, they had keys made.
Okay, so again, that is not going to work.
What's that?
They can't have keys made and have keys out.
Well, that's what we all agree on
So
that,
the-
but
so that it didn't get rekeyed, they just had additional keys made.
yes, from
And
my
who's got it?
understanding, yes.
And who's got them?
The guy that does the the winter stuff. He's the guy that showed me the key. I don't know it, I don't know their name on there.
Okay, so it's always been policy, if I'm correct. And goes way back before me, but the keys are come to your office, lawyer's office, and they're dispersed.
We
with
number them, mark them,
names,
and then they write down who gets the keys.
so we have no idea right now who has keys.
How many keys did you have made?
I didn't make them. He just showed me a key that was on Renell's desk. And we took it out and
Wait a
tried
minute,
it.
wait a minute. Vanilla is different than the senior center.
All right, I apologize.
Okay,
Okay, I'm talking about the other one.
okay, that's different then.
All right,
That's NEI 3A.
yeah, that's where the keys were made. I'm sorry, I apologize. That's where the keys were made. Somewhere on the inside, the lady suggested that we do not do that because then somebody could lock the door and then nobody else could unlock it. This way, if it gets locked, they can unlock it from the inside.
So you're talking about the senior center now?
Right.
Okay, so did they put a keypad opener or what they put on it?
Not that I'm aware of.
Nothing, they didn't do anything, so this list has not been addressed at all.
Right.
Jay went down to do the parking lot to make sure the slope or whatever, with the handicap space
Right.
up front.
Right.
We didn't know if that would entail them maybe restriping the parking lot, or do we just put it right there in front because the Head Start has parking up against the building. Senior Center does not. Their parking is out in the middle of the parking lot. So,
And clear on the end.
yeah, but they will ask for handicap spots right
In
in
the
the front
front.
door because that's where most of the people come.
Mhm.
You know, they do have the one or two over on the east side.
And the problem with that I could see is the RTA buses always pull right there to let the people off in the front
Well,
door.
there's still gonna be room there. If they're parked against the building or in the middle, there's still gonna be room. There's probably more room if they're parked up to the front of the building. And the handicap is up toward the building. It makes sense to me to have that parking handicap there. So I don't know that you have a copy of this or when
Yes,
they
I do.
address, okay. We should address it about the ramp also and move forward or see what they need or want and.
I talked to them people about that, but they never have gotten back to me on it.
Question is, would it be more conducive to put the ramp in, or do they really need a stage?
Well, if you put a ramp in there, it's gonna take up a lot of the area south of the state where they got it proposed in the drawing.
Because
Do
you
they
could-
need a stage or do they just need a podium to, if they have a speaker?
I can't answer that.
Yeah, I don't know what the activities are if they, you know, I guess I don't know.
I know Red Ink goes down there, plays every once in a while on that stage. Well, they used to.
Where are we at with the proposed window access for the attorney's office? You were gonna get, what your estimate was to install that window.
Okay, so if we go with the bulletproof glass and that, just the window alone. Can I say these numbers?
I believe we have them, we have that number. What was your estimate to install?
I really didn't give that.
And that's what we asked if you could give us.
Because I wanted to move it around, we wanted to move it around here, and then somebody said no, and if we have to put it in here, I really don't want to do that because it's a bearing wall. And it's gonna need to be braced and iron put in it, and I don't have the ability to do that.
Okay, I thought you told me at one time you didn't have a problem with
Well, that was over here on this side. I can cut a hole through there, but it's a bearing wall and somebody's gonna have to come in and weld I-beams up there to support it and what I'm gonna call a crippler to hold it. And I don't have the ability to do that. If it was not a bearing wall that we could just, dummy it in so if something shook, it didn't fall, I probably could do that.
it. So what about the inside where the window used to be in there? Is that your project if they open that or?
that we can do, because I'm almost positive the frame is still there. We just closed it in.
You think the glass is still in it also?
I can't answer that, but I
It's
don't remember-
likely when you find out,
what?
then swing your hammer lightly. to-
Well, we could go in the backside, cut a hole in the sheetrock and find out. It ain't a big deal.
Well, first we're gonna have to decide if we're gonna put that. We don't even know if that bed's good anymore.
I think the last time I looked at it was good for 30 days, and I'm sure we're over that.
Well, that gets back to the greater argument, do we need a bulletproof window there?
Well, I heard from the attorney's office, if they're not gonna have bulletproof window, they're not gonna do it. And I heard that from the sheriff's office, that if it's gonna do, it's gonna be secured.
And so. I'm sorry.
When, yeah,
I just, back to what you said one time, you know, the bulletproof glass is here and 3 foot here is the door that
door,
isn't. You know, and once you get inside the office. Nothing's gonna stop you and them in there. Why not make the door, the window and everything at once? You know? Put this proposal in the door. And lock the door, and then if you want somebody in there, do like they do in the sheriff's office, push a button and let them in and close the door. I think that would work too.
I didn't know we had.
That's
a
just my idea.
I didn't know we had a proposal for a service window in the door.
I'm saying not, instead of spending this money for that window.
well, I get, the more and more I talk to, the more it's like, they talk about the number. Here, the treasurer, we talked to, they see about 90% of the people who come in here dealing with money and transactions. They want it wide open so they can see and they can hear and all. The clerk of courts take money. They don't have it. Then I get up to the attorneys, I'm like, I really start to struggle with, maybe more of a controlled access, maybe a lock on the door that can be triggered to get in. I just don't, I mean, banks want a bulletproof window because they're dealing with lots of money people. I'm really starting to struggle with, I don't see the threat.
Well, I think it's more of a court case, a disgruntled loser. In a court battle or something, whether it be unpleasant divorce or whatever it may be. I think that's their concern that.
So
Yeah.
why would they need to pass through if that's the case?
Yeah, and I don't know, as far as how much business they do that way with signatures or what it may be, I'm not sure.
Somebody was talking about that they don't handle much money. Other
I don't
than,
imagine they handle much money at that attorney's office. I wouldn't think.
that's what, I don't know who told me that, but somebody told me that.
And, I'm almost thinking for the amount of money we were looking at doing this window, could you just kind of put a little bit of a vestibule in there and almost a second door? Just so a little bit more restricted. It's just. We've been talking about this for months and we're not really getting anywhere, and the rest of the courthouse is, I don't know.
And that
Right.
is one of the things that I kind of proposed after our security meeting when they didn't like the idea of it going into the other hallway. And when I took that back up there, because I said, what if we, made an entrance where that was like a steel door or something then, and you had to buzz them in to come in. And then I got, well, then I can't see out into the hallway. Well, do we want to be secure or do we want to see the people going through?
Yeah.
Well, I can see where the vestibule, like the sheriff's office, would take up a fair amount of space in that, if you so call it a meeting room. And it probably wouldn't work very well with the window opening, like we said, either in between the two offices. I don't know if that's necessary either. If you put a vestibule in there, would you still have to have a service window, basically, like they do at the sheriff's office?
See, I don't work in there, so I can't answer that.
In where? Oh,
In the,
well, what they're talking about is a service window, so.
I understand
If you put a
that.
vestibule in where they let them in.
What is
Then
the
you still
purpose of the service window? That's what I want to know. If they don't take money in there, what is the purpose of the window?
I say, just so they don't have to do transactions face to face or, yeah, a bumper to bumper or
Okay,
forehead to forehead. I don't,
and
you know.
what do they do for transactions in there? I see that's,
To deal with, I think the initial conversation was moving her into their little, where all the file cabinets and stuff was. And he wanted to use where she is as more of a conference room.
Yeah,
But if you're in a conference room, I think that window kind of became more of a way that she could do her business through the wall and didn't have to interrupt the conference room by having people walking in and out. I get that. But again, I'm like, I don't understand the ballistic glass added, you know.
Yeah.
Considerable cost and stuff and, you know, to me, it's a brick wall. I mean. You step to the side, it's, you know, like, you know, and and when they were talking about how many people come in and out of their office in a week. Sometimes it's half the time you said it's single digits, so it's an awful lot of expense for relatively small traffic. Compared to somebody that sees 90% of our traffic in the courthouse and handling money. They're specifying different requirements, so. You know,
I agree.
that's where I'm,
Some of that you can offset a little bit, not that I'm saying I'm 100% for this, by no means, but the people coming in to, you know, renew their license or whatever, probably don't have as great, I mean, yes, anybody can go off and get ballistic, but you know, as somebody who just had something go wrong in court, that way I could see tempers maybe being at a different level. But again, is there other things we can do? Like you say, you know, just have a triggered door that is locked until they allow them in so they can see who's coming in and what's going on.
I don't know.
okay, I guess more discussion to be had.
Anything else?
Anything for us?
No, I'll take care of that weed though. Thank you. Have a good week.
Yep. Hey,
Did we discuss with him about going forward and getting the handrail going?
what about the handrail?
Handrail. Over here, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I just
I
wanna,
just wanted to take a look at it and
yeah,
I don't remember a handrail or.
well, what it
Yes,
is,
it's just a piping rail, but we need to do something because it gives people free access to go down that ramp. I mean, you could end up getting
Yeah.
some mischievous stuff going on there.
Is that what you're doing?
no, I'm not blocking it off. It has a swinging gate on it, but it's just all rusted and it fell off. And I wanted to replace it
I guess it's
with,
maintenance, yeah.
I want to replace it with square tubing.
Yeah.
Cause I think I got some left over from making Arlene's, protective shield tape. And I want to make it out of that.
If it's maintenance, it's maintenance.
So you already got all the stuff.
I don't have all the stuff, but I got probably 2 sticks of it. I'm probably gonna need 3 or 4 more. Okay, and it's 20 foot. I don't know what, it ain't much.
Go for it.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, I think Lori ducked back out. Did she say to call her or what was the
Yeah.
situation?
All right, we're ready.
Take a brief recess at this time. We will reconvene at this time, and again, we're joined by Laura Rowling, our zoning administrator, and Ruth, her assistant. Good morning again.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Let's start with Leisure Lake, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay. So we have in front of us request for 4 different extensions. Ruth and I were out there yesterday. And there has, on each of the ones that we're gonna talk about, there has been movement forward. So, the first one is Bill Myers. Mary and Ricky, they're asking for an extension. There was some issues with getting the vehicles license renewed. And I won't go into detail, but you do have the letter in front of you, I believe. So they're just asking, they were just having some delays with the courts. get those registered. And they were.
When were they issued, Lori?
These were, everything I'm gonna talk about was issued for July 1st.
Okay,
Yeah, everything here is July 1st, I do believe.
And the fines are being paid, what it sounds, and
So they're just needing a little bit extra time to get that cleared up.
so if that gets cleared up, does that basically solve their issues of their property?
Yeah, it should, unless, of course, the vehicles are licensed and abandoned, we might need to revisit it and kind of discuss if there's anything, you know, because even some vehicles that are registered aren't operable. So we can, hopefully it'll clear it up, yes.
I make a motion that we give them the 30-day extension. And if they have any other issues in their property, it needs to be taken care of in that time frame.
I believe they were all addressed.
Second, as long as they adhere to their payment schedules.
Yes, August 31st, guys, August 30th.
Yeah.
31st.
31st.
okay, so this is for until, all right, so this is the Bill Meyer, Ricky and Mary, correct?
Yes, sir.
One of them I read was for 80-day extension, correct? That's not this.
I don't remember anyone asking for 80
Okay,
days.
I thought I read that, maybe I looked at it wrong.
Yeah,
Oh, well, on this handwritten one,
I
that 3 looks like an 8, so I'm sorry.
okay, that's okay, that's okay.
But it's
I got those two.
3 looks like an 8, maybe.
If you glance in the way, yeah.
That's why I type, but at the same time, I misspell last name.
All right, so I have a motion and a second on the table to authorize the 30-day extensions to the Bill Meyer as requested.
As long as they stay in,
Long as we see improvement. I mean,
Yeah.
we give them the 30 days, so we have to see 30 days.
Right.
Have to see improvement in 30 days or we're gonna be.
Got it.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
uh,
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right,
Okay, the second one is Cornish Burkhart. 2 last names. Anyway, we were out there yesterday, just again, and yes, the abandoned vehicle had been removed. It sounds like she's kind of questioning, wait a second.
the mobile home, she said it's not abandoned.
Yeah, well, there's a tree line on top of it and they haven't used it in a while. There is also some moving pieces where they're in the process of selling. So there might be new ownership sooner than later, but they're still asking for 30 days, but it sounds like the new owner would be buying it with the trailer in place and then fixing it after it's sold. So we could start with 30 days maybe and see how they're, you know, how they're moving forward with that sale.
Well,
so I don't know how these properties carry title or anything like that, but is there a title opinion done and do they, so there, nothing will ever show up in an abstract or anything to say that there's a judgment against that property when they buy it. That's kind of a
The
scary thing, by the way.
the property could, the real estate, but the mobile home. I mean, it's,
So there was an unfortunate situation that happened up there where someone bought a mobile home and there's a long story.
Sure.
Because there's no abstract, there's no this, there's
Sure.
no that. So
You
the
know, even with the grinders, you know.
yeah, there was, and this lady lost a significant amount of money. So unfortunately, things like this probably aren't gonna be picked up. Because there's, usually it's done by quitclaim deed. A lot of these transactions are done by quitclaim deed, which, you know.
Right,
knows what we're
so I guess you've talked to these people, correct?
yeah, I touched her on the phone a little bit.
Okay,
and
so,
had her
I
sign
mean,
it.
are you aware who the buyer might be too? Did you say that or did you?
I didn't tell you who it
You bet
was.
you indicated that you may know.
She mentioned a name
Okay,
and it's a Leisure Lake property name.
I would
Okay.
like to see confirmation that the purchaser is acknowledged these things. And accept responsibility, provides a plan, because right now we're just taking face value word
he
and
should She
Yeah.
said,
Well-
she said,
And here's the other thing going forward on that. I don't want this property to sell. Well, not that I don't want it to sell. I don't care if it sells, but then we got this property coming in, owner coming in and going, well, I need another 90 days notice to get this done because I just started on all of this.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want this dragging out into a 3-4 month ordeal over.
We're gonna have some of those.
So,
well, yeah, I
That's
will,
okay.
but again, and if we see improvement is another aspect
Right.
of it.
Well, there
right,
was,
but
they did
this-
remove the abandoned vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's improvement.
Yes, sir.
So, again, I'm worried like Don is that the new proprietor, owner. Doesn't know any of this and stumbles in and says. No, you gotta give me the same amount of time, so we basically start all over.
Yeah, and I can reach out to her. Do you want to revisit this next week or?
I would like Don said, a statement from the prospective buyer to say,
Okay.
I'm aware.
Okay,
Buyer
because
beware.
my issue is if this mobile home has a tree on it, they can't get the tree off the mobile home.
there's lots of trees and lots of places up there. Oh, and by
Well,
the way,
I-
there's new
but-
debris now too, but not on that one, but just
Well,
throughout the property.
We are doing baby steps here and
Yeah.
we're looking for its improvement, so I
Yeah.
would grant that to the point that there is improvement, with acknowledgement from prospective new buyer, if that's the case, I don't.
well, and I would also, a prospective new buyer kind of is a blanket generic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want a timeline,
Okay,
the closing date, all that kind of stuff. That, I want to see
Yeah, there's
something
something.
in stone versus just, well, I might be selling it.
there,
There's a lot of that, and
Yes.
I don't want it, if we're gonna proceed with this, give us hard facts, give us a closing date, give us
Okay.
when the transaction's gonna happen.
okay,
Give us acknowledgement that the buyer acknowledges this is going on and they accept responsibility because again. We're not gonna restart the clock on the property just because they bought a property in the middle of the game, so to speak.
if the sale is in process, a lot of that information will be confidential.
yeah, and like I said, I was told the name, but I don't think it's my place to say
Right.
that.
Absolutely not.
But I would ask that we bring this one back next week.
Okay,
Yeah, with further information.
okay. And you.
So do we
you-
need to do that by motion or does that just,
I make a motion, we bring this back next week with, if you guys can get that.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
And if they don't provide that information, then that lets us know if we're gonna.
Sure.
A second.
I have a motion and a second to approve an extension to table it till next week. Further information, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
And just so you know, Don, you said something I'm gonna bring up at the end, because I don't want to muddy the waters here, but you mentioned starting the clock over.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna come back to that thought. All right, so the next one is Bethel. And they do not live in the area. This is a unique property. It has a foundation with floor joist on it. And these people are not full-time people here, and they stated in their, and that's their only violation. Is a shell of a building, but they have plans to get it removed in the next 30 days. And working with there's multiple property owners there, it would appear.
Your recommendation?
My recommendation is give them 30 days.
This is their first extension,
Yes, sir.
so moved.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve a 30-day extension to the Bethel as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
So
Motion carried.
again, that's gonna go to the 31st then.
Yes, sir. Or yes, ma'am. Sorry.
All
Okay,
right.
next one is Huston. And we were out there yesterday, you guys, they have made, you know, it's kind of like the storm before things get happen, but the mobile home is out of there. Some of the contents of the mobile home are still sitting there because the dumpster was full and they're waiting to get that out, but they have made significant progress on that. So, and if you were asking for my recommendation, Mike, I'd say yes, I believe that needs to be granted an extra 30 days.
So moved. This is.
I'll second.
Is that a second?
This is their first. Every one of these were ones that originally were served off the July 1st date. And before we get to pork chops, division. Oh,
I'm not finished.
I
I have a
apologize.
motion and a second to approve a 30-day extension to Houston as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, then going back to starting the clock over. We're fair in remembering some of our violations and what they look like. And when people own multiple properties, we've seen them being moved to another property and not gotten rid of. And my understanding from John Keys is that it's just a continuance of the same violation, which I'm gonna follow up with John and see how we're gonna proceed on that, or legally how we should proceed on that. But yeah, we have become aware of some of that, and one person even told me, and he didn't do it, but so I think other people are following suit. Well, I'll just move it and you have to start it over. So I don't believe that's the case. And I think it's just a continuance of the same violation in a different location. So, but we will follow up. And while I'm on this subject, or I had to see it here and I'll probably do it again. I know you guys get a lot of people that play the video back later in the day or later in the week to watch this. So anyone that's listening by or has their YouTube video up here and watching the replay, I'd invite them to take out their pencils right now and write down www.jacksoncounty.iowa.gov and go to that page and take the comprehensive plan survey. Their feedback is important. All right, pork chop. So this is a subdivision.
Lori, before we go to pork chop, where do we stand on all the other ones that we have granted and like that were up at the end of July?
We were out there yesterday and we didn't get back till late. So there are some that, well, one of them in particular, they are making forward motion. The Bischoff property.
Yeah.
That's one at the
That
top.
one's really good.
Can you give me a name of the guy with the brick driveway? There's another one, not getting the name, but yeah, we didn't get our list completed. The one where he was granted two 30-day extensions, I believe, and it expires, I don't remember if that one's going till August or going to July 30th, but I think it's August.
Okay,
Looking amazing. You know, where the bricks have been moved across the street to where they're supposed to be.
yes.
Fine looking project, but there's still like 5 or 6 pallets of stone sitting over there, but everything else other than that stone has been removed. So that was, and I can't think of any others that we had out there.
Just maybe for the next time, if you can kind of bring us that.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So now we're ready for pork chop.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, so this was a plat that was presented to us. It took a long time to get done. And they weren't in a hurry, so just with different entities, part of that being on vacation and getting a permission through the city of Preston because it's within 2 miles, but they have met all their criteria that we have for zoning to have that subdivision granted.
This is resolution number 983-08-01-2023.
Thank you. I didn't have that in front of me.
The wishes of the board?
I'll make a motion that we go ahead with this subdivision.
We're just approving the final plat, correct?
Yes.
Right, right.
Second,
Motion and second to approve the resolution 983-08-01-2023 as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
And I already kind of mentioned the survey for the comprehensive plan that people can sign up for on the county website just to get their opinion. To date, and I'm gonna get updates every Friday, I believe. To date, there has been 28 of the surveys that have been completed. So,
That's a start.
yeah, it is a start.
It is a start.
The numbers we were thinking we might see, but it's baby steps, I guess, and I believe though, and just so you guys know, and anyone else that might be listening on YouTube, I am looking for speaking engagements where I can talk to people more about the plan and why their information or their opinions are important part of this plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. Say your,
Yeah, I'll yield.
okay, thank you very much. Mr. Todd Kenny, were you available?
I think so.
Will you please come forward? All right, Mr. Todd Kenny, our Jackson County engineer is back for his further business.
Okay, so you guys already took action on the 22nd Street vacation, so the next thing would be the resolution for the 308th Street Secondary Road Assessment District. Certifying the amounts to each parcel number of the properties within the district. So unless you have any questions, I mean, that's, you guys already, I checked with Lisa, you guys already approved the interest rate, so this just sets the certified amounts that I'll end up giving this information to the treasurer, that's what gets filed. And then this will start the date for which somebody has to file an appeal, and then also starts the date for the interest collection. They have so many days to determine whether they're gonna pay it in full or submit an agreement to the auditor saying they're gonna pay it. They have to make the initial payment on that day, and then they pay it in 90 installments.
So that if we approve this now, that officially starts the clock right now.
Yep.
What's the timeline for appeal?
I don't have that. I
15 days.
think it's 15, yeah.
So I got a
Hold on, I'll get.
And will they be notified of this?
Or were they notified?
Yeah, we sent a letter to them saying, I can read it to you. The Jackson County Board of Supervisors will be considering the enclosed resolution for approval at their August 1st board meeting. If the resolution is approved by the board on August 1st, that date will be considered the date of the levy/assessment in which the landowner will have 15 days to file an appeal. So 15 days to file an appeal. That's only the appeal of the assessment amount. They can't appeal the establishment of the district. They're only appealing their assessment amount. And then there are two options for payment of the assessment. Property owners can pay the entire amount of the assessment within 20 days from the date of the levy, which is August 1st, or they can file a written agreement in the office of the county auditor within 20 days of the date of the assessment, within 20 days of August 1st, basically stating they will pay the assessment in 10 equal installments, including 6% interest, with the first installment being paid on the date of the agreement. So that agreement has to be filed within 20 days, and then the date you sign that agreement, they enter the agreement, they make that first payment.
When was that mailed out last week?
July 21st.
So moved.
A second.
This is resolution number 984-08-01-2023.
Have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 984-08-01-2023 as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
And I reached out to another county to see if we could get a sample agreement for editing purposes, or do you have one?
Well, I talked to Attorney Keys last week and I haven't received it yet, but did you receive an agreement from the county that you reached out to?
It's Lynn County and I have not heard back yet, so.
When I talked to John last week, I kind of wanted to have that agreement in hand in case somebody came in this week and John was not in the office yesterday, so I'll touch base before I leave today.
Yeah, so hopefully we can get, we don't need to recreate the wheel, so
Yeah,
hopefully.
I'm gonna plagiarize off some other county.
So. Next item is the discussion and possible action on the temporary construction easement for 413th Avenue Colbert. This is where we need temporary easement to put an elbow on and put an extension on so we can take care of some erosion issues.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve the temporary construction easement on 413th Avenue as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Alright.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, next one is the utility permit for Macocota Valley Electric. Along Iron Bridge Road, they want to put in basically 5 new poles within the right of way, so they don't have to cut across 2 different property owners, just so they can get service to a new chicken barn.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the right of way utility permit for Macocota Valley Electric in Fairfield Township, Section 7 as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, last item here is the ditch cleaning policy. I think I brought this up last time or a couple board meetings ago. And the board asked to have Attorney Keys review it, which he did. And I got a response back from him, said it looks good, so.
The question we had, I think last week, Mike brought up is like in our noxious weed ordinance. It says property owners are responsible for maintaining their ditch
For weeds.
for weed.
Weeds and brush, I think it says.
Yeah, so this wouldn't necessarily, this is just for actually removing of material, it's dirt, basically, is there this.
Clean it,
Yeah.
so you can get.
So
Flow.
we would seed it back, so our responsibility is to seed it back, but then like maintaining weeds and brush, that's on the property owner. That's a different conversation,
Okay.
but that's in your guys' ordinance, that you guys.
Then a resolution. I think we pass a resolution every year. Not just weed ordinance.
Yeah, I would probably have that conversation with,
Maybe just review that and see what you think of our resolution.
is that in your IRBM?
It,
We don't have yet. We don't have an integrated roadside. ditch.
Okay.
Yeah. But we can definitely get a copy of that resolution to you.
Or weed control, basically, weed and brush control.
I mean, it's in the resolution.
Okay, I can look at that.
And we add to that noxious weeds yearly if we need to.
Well, that's by state law.
Well,
We can
Can we just change it and say as
okay, so I mean, it's state law, which weed they approve or what?
There's state law, I think it's chapter, what is it, 318? Is the weed law, Iowa weed law that says there's a primary and secondary noxious weeds, and it lists what those are.
Sure.
And then you can add weeds and say, hey, we want people to take care of,
Cucumber,
or, crowfoot or ragweed or something, which technically aren't noxious weeds, but you could say you gotta control those as well.
I think we agree on that,
Okay,
I make a motion, we approve Todd's ditch policy.
I'll second it.
you mean the counties, right?
Oh, yeah, that one too.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve the ditching policy as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, one last thing, and just as a heads up, Lisa, we talked about this, but we got an email about a cost share on the parking lot work.
Mhm.
And I was trying to figure out why it was basically an 80-20 cost share. I got heard back from Josh, and basically it's because he's basing it off of the square footage of the two parking lots.
Okay,
So I will probably be bringing that back as a MOU between the city and what we're gonna do, who pays for what. There's two different parking lots, one over here and, well, I forget the
is
name.
this gonna include the removal of the
Bollards.
post
Yes, yes,
and,
and
Okay.
putting the servicing back and,
okay?
yeah, and then stringing the cable, we're providing the cable on that other one, so it's gonna,
All in agreement for where the handicap spots are going and.
that's not, has nothing to do with the MOU.
Okay,
This is just a cost share for the work,
all right,
but I'll be bringing that back as an MOU hopefully, so.
okay. We talked briefly with Jaden about the reclaiming process going well. We talked a little bit about 328, how excessively wide it was, and I traveled a portion of that, and there's a lot of surface ground right now with no vegetation. I was kind of afraid if we don't do some seeding there or some kind that we're gonna have all weeds. This is a rather large amount of, ground that's uncovered there now, they really narrowed that up or brought it in anyway, so you got.
So what's the finished width?
Right around 24 to 26 on average. So
Okay.
It was a super wide, it just required that. It was just.
It was probably 10 feet wider.
Yeah,
Just due to the nature of the existing.
I mean, we could see the technical most of the time when we retrieve a road, we don't see what we
Right,
missed up,
right.
but if
Well,
it's another,
This is probably one of our, this is our most excessive one, just due to the width.
I think you'd have to take a look yourself. and
okay,
decide.
well, we could see, I mean, we could go see it quick.
If you wait till maybe September when it's ideal condition, in case we do get
Yes.
hot weather.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess we have to mow it, and probably have weeds growing, so they have to like mow it down as low as you can, or even retrieve it again, or disc it up and then put a seed down and get a little seed. Bank. Okay, yeah, we can look at that. 328th Street.
Avenue.
I don't know.
Avenue, there you go.
It looks really good though. I mean, and I also asked him about the portion of the road that wasn't rock, so there's 3 to 4 feet of shoulder that will be grass covered shoulder.
And
And
we're,
it's sloped nice after that. I mean, you got drainage and you got.
that's key, that's what we're shooting for.
Yep, I
And then
agree.
we got our safety meetings going on today too, so.
All right, appreciate it, Tom.
Alright.
Thanks, guys. I'm back. Lisa,
Would you like me to yield?
what do we else have on our agenda other than you and Luann?
I think these gentlemen are waiting for the jail decision that's under my part.
We got a 1:05 work session anyway, so.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't matter. Okay.
Can we do the rest of your portion or,
So, sure, that's fine.
I mean,
Go for it.
is there something in your portion that's gonna hold us up?
No, I didn't know what your thoughts were, if you wanted me to yield and have Luann go first, or it's okay, I was being courteous.
Just get it.
Let's do it.
So I need a motion to approve the minutes of the July 25th, 2023 board proceedings as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspapers.
So moved.
That motion, I'll second it.
The motion and a second to approve the minutes of the July 25th, 2023 board proceeding as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Motion needed to approve and authorize the auditor's office to issue warrants in the publication of the claims listing in the amount of $955,233.36.
So moved.
Second.
Just stumble over the one.
I think that was a motion to approve and a second I heard clearly.
It was a motion to approve, sorry.
I have a motion and a second to approve the claims as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Motion needed to approve invoices for $17,063.57 to Midwest Construction Consultants, $400 to Chosen Valley Testing, $172,910.45 to Bill Bruce Builders, $30,466.50 to Kraus Plumbing and Heating, $15,221.85 to Giesler Brothers, $38,000 to Rock River Electric, Inc., $120 to Tri-State Porta Potty, Inc., and $303.54 to Republic Services for a total of $274,485.91, of which $62,800 was paid from the American Rescue Funds, or ARPA, and authorized the chair's signature on the project cost recap for the Law Enforcement Center for the month ending July 31st, 2023.
So moved.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the claims as which were a part of our original claims, correct?
Correct.
As presented, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Motion needed to approve invoices for $5,000 to SA Architects, $7,370.08 to Midwest Construction Consultants, $192,136.78 to Peak Construction, $19,950 to Hometown Plumbing and Heating, $15,846.95 to Crawford Company, $14,060.01 to Stickley Electric Service, Inc., $120 to Tri-State Porta Potty, Inc., $8,345 to Tills Construction LC, for a total cost of $262,836.82, and authorized the chair's signature on the project cost recap for the Jackson County Fair and ISU, the 4-H Outreach Center, for the month ending July 31st, 2023.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the invoices presented with the note they were also included in.
They
They
are
were, okay, they were not included
They're not.
in the point. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Do you want to discuss the change orders or do you want to wait?
I think we discussed the change orders that come through last week, correct?
So I need a motion, if you would like, I need a motion to approve change order number 2-1 to Stronghold Industries, Inc. for an additional $40,180 for additions to the security electronics, cameras, and door frames.
Make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve the change order number 2-1 as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Motion needed to approve change order number 3-2 to House Plumbing and Heating for an additional $2,870 for a camera to view the underground plumbing, temporary water meter service, and complete the water main connection to the steel building.
Moved.
Second.
A motion and second to approve the change order number 3-2 to Cross Plumbing as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carried.
That's all that I have for the board today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Luann?
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, on the calendar for this week. 11 o'clock this morning after the meeting, we'll have a work session on the opioid settlement. On Wednesday, August 2nd at 9 a.m. will be an RTA meeting in Dubuque or on Zoom for all of you. At 9:30 is the geo permits kickoff meeting for any of the department heads in the building that are interested in doing that. 4 o'clock on Wednesday is tentatively a Wednesdays are possible meeting, and I don't have any other information on that, but any of you could attend that. From 4 to 7 p.m. is the Lamont and Andrew Telephone Customer Appreciation Picnic in Lamont, for any of you that want to attend that. Thursday, August 3rd, from 4 to 5:30 p.m. is the Manchester Stormwater Wetland Event in Manchester. And I think Don is planning to go to that, but they are having a citywide celebration with music, live music afterwards and things like that. So anybody could go if they wanted to. Friday, August 4th, I will be out of the office that day. Our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, August 8th at 9 a.m. And that morning, at 11 o'clock, we will have a work session on the care facility at the care facility for any of you that want to do that. And at 4 p.m. is the Mississippi Valley Workforce or Coconut River Watershed Management Authority Executive Meeting by Zoom for Don. The only other business I have for you today, under my portion, is the discussion possible action on the law enforcement center change orders and expansion. So
the change orders we have approved.
Yep.
We talked about the expansion options, if you will, in our previous meeting. Did we get a timeline for approval of that, Don? Do you know?
I talked to John, I talked to Jeremy, and they're basically saying the sooner the better. This week or next week at the latest, because it's just trying to get stuff ordered. I know even with the things we got on the main project that's already been approved, they're having trouble with locks and stuff and doorways. And so the sooner we make a decision, the better, is what they're looking at. John asked that if we made a motion today, he would make a motion to approve we approve the expansion with the alternates 1 and 2, which be the east side, the west side, however we decide to do it, with permission for him to go back and get final numbers, because he's
To negotiate?
yeah, he's
Okay.
trying to negotiate a little bit better for us, so that's what he was looking for. I know Lisa and we've been trying to crunch the numbers and go through. Some of the initial contractors' numbers look like they went up extravagant, but I look at their initial bids off their back when they were approving the jail, and I don't know if they went into quite as much detail or it was just an educated guess and they thought they could catch it up with change orders or whatnot. I just,
You don't know.
you don't know. I mean,
Gotta figure.
there was their initial bid back when the jail was first proposed was just a round number. Let's say 25,000, and that's not what, but it was just like, this number is to a penny. So there's distinct differences in the appearance of the numbers. So doesn't make a pound the number any better, but it's one of those things is, I guess, are we ready to make a decision? Or how long do we want to sit on it? Because we are getting crunch time on that. And to me, I've talked to several people throughout the course of the last 2 weeks. And everybody says if we're gonna do it, to me, they're like, we should do it all. It doesn't make sense to leave. As one farmer said, you don't buy crop ground and leave a third of it untilled. You know, it really.
There's a point to that. I guess we have to live within our means. I'm not interested in depleting all of our resources. As far as, the revenue that we have, or reserves, if you should call it. I mean, we probably can do it. I would love to have my building a 40 by 60, but it's not. So somewhere I have to say to myself, or say, this is what I can do. This is what I can afford. It makes sense. It should pay for itself. Per se, possibly. We don't know that, of course. So I don't know. I'm certainly in favor of the 12 in the general pop. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And I guess I would be in favor of 6 more in the max. And I just don't know that I'm in favor of another 300,000 for another 6 beds. I think it's sufficient. And we are living within our means, and we have numbers to show that we can potentially pay for this with revenue, generating revenue. Again, it's a matter of your reserves, where you want to be with them and how tight you want to get with them. I guess that's where we're at.
And that's where we defer to Lisa. Had several conversations. Do you feel comfortable that we could do?
That's a crystal ball. I mean, really, because at any given point, the storm on Friday night could have demolished something that we would have an extensive amount of repair. You know what? And there's other things, there's equipment and buildings that could fail, that could be very costly. There could be the sprinkler system in Andrew Jackson Care. There could be the sewer lagoon at Andrew Jackson Care that could fail. I mean, we have all kinds of potential. Unfortunately, I gave you the figures and that's all that I can do. But it's gonna take a lot of money to finish this. There's no doubt about it. I mean, we're gonna have to take money from several different funds to make this work.
Well, you're looking somewhere in the vicinity of 600 or 500,000. 800,000 or 1.1, if I'm
There's,
rounding my numbers off correct.
yes, there's a lot of moving pieces to this discussion. I think we all would agree with that. You know,
I did have some conversation with emergency management again. And we really have to get a time that we can sit down with even Bjorn and emergency management and Kelly, and if we have to make a call to Tara from FEMA federal, you know, I mean, we all got the list, we got the
I
list
actually
again.
talked to John about that.
And went down through that thing, and we need to portion out what our wiring portion is for the EOC, what our generator costs for the EOC, what are these portions that we can use? There is $12,000 in there for a remote rolling shelf unit.
Yep, we
So
talked
we can-
about that. There's $30,000 for getting fiber to the EOC.
Yeah, so we need to talk to,
So-
I mean,
Problem is, the fiber is in the building, the fiber is in the building. It's not just strictly for EOC. The fiber.
In that grant, there's $30,000 budgeted to get fiber through the building to that room. So if we can break that out, I mean, I understand there's semantics and that
I
kind of
get,
stuff.
we might have to get creative here and think outside the box somewhat, but there's a portion to say, okay, it costs us so much to get it to the building, and now we gotta get it through the building, and what is the other wiring costs of that? I
Right.
mean, it includes the wiring, I believe, so.
It includes the wiring, then you're okay. It's
Yeah.
not fiber going through the building per se.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's just coming in.
But I think we can, I think it's, I don't know if it's defined in there, but the wiring, so if we're gonna wire. You got X amount of square feet, if we're taking 15% of that wiring, we're gonna take 15% of the cost. I don't know if it's that simple or not, but. You got $90,000 figured in for a generator to operate the whole building, so does 15% of that generator cost, it says that we can use it for a generator, so. Does 15% of that cost come from that? Can we use that? We need to make a call and. Record it and know where we're at, we just don't, we need to use that money somehow.
and I guess I don't understand how that has to be spent for us to be reimbursed. It's not like they sent us a check
Right,
and then we have all
Right.
of this reporting.
so if we don't
So you
use
have
it
to expend it to get it back.
in qualified areas, to
Correct.
get it back, yeah.
Yes,
Right.
They will, after you spent it,
yeah.
they will say, yeah,
So it's
that's
gonna still come
qualified.
out of, see that, so it's still gonna come out of all of these proceeds,
Right,
you know. Yeah, it's a reimbursement.
so it's like Don said, we gotta pay it up front. We gotta get it back, you know, that's like the road thing, you know, I mean.
So I'd hate to spend something that we're not gonna get back. How do we know?
Well, that's why we gotta sit down and make a call and say, you're gonna cover this, and we got you recorded saying so, I mean. You know, it's just a matter of getting everybody together at the same time, you know, whether. Kelly and Lynn and myself are one of the supervisors and.
There's no
Yeah.
doubt. This is something that we've sat down, we've looked at all the figures, we've done a lot of discussion about. I've had discussions with John, I've had discussions with, everybody. I get it. I just,
The biggest consensus is, if we don't expand one of the areas now, it'll never get expanded.
I would tend to agree,
And then why did we spend the money in the first place?
well, because we added a significant amount of more beds.
But the second floor, that's, to me, it seems like it's, I don't know.
Well, you could cut the second floor off and save any money, basically. Now, the point is, are we gonna finish that space that's there? I mean, otherwise you would have had another corner, 6 corners, and you wouldn't have had a square building, so. It's there for the possibility of expansion. If 10 years from now they want to expand it,
So would you consider, instead of 2 and 2, where you get general population on this side, medium max, would you just do all medium, all alternate 1 bid times 2? You spend 500,000 instead of, does that make sense?
I think you have to do the addition of the general, which would be 12.
Mhm.
And
Do
then
the
I'm
other side?
proposing, I'm proposing to do another 6 and a medium max. That's what I'm proposing. That's saving us $300,000 for 6 beds, and I think it fills our needs
So how do you? I'm
and
sorry.
fill the opportunity of having revenue.
You get 6 gen pop on one side, 6 gen pop on the other for a total
So are
of
you-
12. That's 6 on the east, 6 on the west. Then you get 6 medium max on the east, 6 medium max on the west. So if you do 12 gen pop, you're doing both sides and only one side medium max, leaving one of those corridors. I think this is,
Just so I understand, what is the cost of that to do?
It
just
would
so I-
be
so I-
approximately 800,000. So that would be the 500 for the general, which I have here, I think.
Yep.
And that would be another 300 for the single individual medium max at 300. 299, 497.
Okay.
So
I just want to make sure I understood.
thoughts, Nan? I think if we do it all.
I'm still turning in my head, which I'm not really for sure. I mean, I kind of get Mike's point on we don't want to deplete a lot, but again, not having the crystal ball, it makes it very tough for any or all of us, but I also kind of agree with if you're gonna do it, now's the time to do it, because as we all know, we're not gonna do it any other time.
we
So
also,
do you just go ahead?
we also have Brent, our sheriff, and Andrew, our jail administrator, on site, if they have comments.
Well, I guess what I would say is, yeah, I mean, the best way to generate any revenue. The more beds you have, the better chances of creating revenue to help pay for it, especially on the front end rather than later on the back end. And 100%, I think if you don't do it now, I think it's so cost prohibitive, you just wouldn't do it later. It just wouldn't make sense. You go backwards if you try to do it later. So I understand the issues, that we're up against. That's my only argument, I guess, would be is it makes more sense to do it now than later. And if we do it now, there's more opportunity to create more revenue rather than less revenue sooner than later. Yes.
Do we
I
have
don't
you
know
guys?
that it's all gonna be peaches and cream to house an extra 25 to 30 inmates either, but.
Yeah, and knowing that, we know that, it's gonna be tougher, it's gonna be more work, it's gonna be more problems, however. I guess as a taxpayer, I want to create as much revenue as I can to let other counties pay for it rather than our taxpayers pay for it, I guess is how I'm looking at it.
We got you guys' pledge that you'll do your best to. That's serious, I mean, because we can say that they can have the intent, but then they're like, well, it's too much work, we don't want to. We're kind of stuck with a having, you're gonna utilize it to its full capacity.
That's my intentions. I mean, as long as I'm sheriff, I plan on filling it.
And that's my point. We don't know that any of us are gonna be here tomorrow, but.
And our officers are up for the challenge of it, you know, I mean, they.
Current,
I think they're excited about it. I think they're wanting to go to the next step, the big league, you know.
and I am, you know, in favor of expanding X amount. I just, again, if the revenues look to where like the unknowns, I guess, like, exactly like Lisa said, the unknowns are still out there and
The biggest thing I want to do, and I appreciate the unknowns and I agree, but the one thing we want to do is when we are crunching these numbers, there's, I think, enough room where we can spread the pain around a little bit, so it doesn't cripple any one fund, but yet we can still manage it. And,
We need to take the least amount of money out of the general fund. We need
Right.
to take it out of it. So just sorry.
I would love to not have to fight over who gets the CARES Act money. If it was all gone, it would be,
Yeah.
you know.
And I
I
did
think
apply
we
for
decided
50,000.
that.
Yeah, I did apply for that 50,000 for the LATC. So, yeah.
So,
And I wish we weren't even looking at, you know, taking funds from anywhere else. I wish we just, you know. I hate that that's where we're at. And so I appreciate that and I understand that. And, you know, I don't like that either. But, you know, you also miss an opportunity if you don't move forward with it. So.
I guess I'm at the point where I would make a motion, we proceed with the 24 bed expansion, giving John the leeway to negotiate the final prices.
Do I have a second? Hearing none,
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to proceed with the expansion of the 24 beds. With the possibility of construction manager negotiating final prices. Is that enough?
Sure.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign? Aye. All right, moving on. I guess, I don't really have any other reports for commissions. I know we have a work session here for the opioid, discussion. So, and we have several individuals here. So is there any other boards or commissions that anyone would like to report on at this time?
Don't move to adjourn.
I will second that.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.